Welcome back. We're going through the diagnoses. So autism is classically delayed emotional processing. Other than the external factors or external circumstances, which is, social issues, sensory overload, emotional dysregulation, meltdowns, and the emotional response. So this is your meltdowns, this is your social anxiety, this is separation, alienation, and this can progress to many other things such as narcissistic personality disorder, BPD, CPTSD, because why? You are bullying, right? Can you see? Dread, confusion, delayed emotional processing. A profound amount of friendship trauma, a high risk of sexual assault. We can't help that, okay? What we can help is our feelings and our assumptions and our state. So when you're triggered, right? Recently I had a lot of friendship issues, uni's come a lot, been fired. That's autism, all right. But what do? How do I defend myself against this world? How do I follow my intuition and know what's right and discernment? Because it's been blocked by everyone else. I'm hyper attuned to the world and what they feel about me, to judgment. How do you not care about judgment? By controlling how you feel, by being strong. You're an empath, right? So you will never have a defense around the world because you are living through the eyes of other people. You're relying on your external circumstances to determine your state and your mood. This is hard because as delayed emotional response and processing, you don't know how you feel. This is classic getting stuck in the throat when you're upset, right? This is what meltdowns are. Your body is screaming, I want to feel, I've had enough of this oppression and I don't know what to do but to melt down, but to scream, cry, throw up, to hit the walls, hit yourself even. Hot girls hit themselves. Ugh! Okay. So, throughout the day, do nothing. Don't think about how autistic you are. Extremely. Do nothing. Don't think about how the world hates you or whatever, or, this is where a lot of people find solace in the comfort. Is that what solace means? In the internet. Because they can't, and gossip as well. And friendship dramas. Because they can't regulate and feel what they truly feel and act on that feeling. They have to look externally to motivate and validate them. This is why there's so much autistic content on the internet. It's because they cannot validate how they feel about themselves. So they're trying to find community and meaning outside of them, which I can relate to and I understand. I did the same thing. Shit! I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but this is your greatest defense. Do nothing. Don't think about how the world has treated you unfairly. Do not think about what you're experiencing right now. Do not interpret. You're about to go in a meltdown, right? So you're getting angry or frustrated. You're thinking, why can't I, I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. There's just too much. You have to drop everything, no matter what, and sit and feel. This is going to be painful. But what does a meltdown mean? Fire everywhere. Fire everywhere. Fire. Fire. Fire, fire, fire. And what is that? That's a buildup of energy that you've suppressed down here. Right? In your coochie boo boo. In your boo 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 coochie. And here. That's why you have a lot of autistic people have chest pains, heart pain. Headaches. And back pain. I'm just going to say that's the back. This is why a lot of people with autism have psychomotor issues because they're not connected in the body. Okay? I mean, certainly doesn't help. Which came first, the psychomotor issues or the self-suppression? Doesn't help. And if you let the energy dissipate throughout the day, you wouldn't have this giant meltdown. I haven't had a meltdown in about 2 years. Why? Because I'm working more on being present in the body and letting all this fizzle out before it leads to the big boom. Oh, I'm so sorry that your parents died. Your father died. You know, boom, 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 boom. Anyways, and then this is where your therapy comes in. This is where your shadow work comes in. This is where what's working for me and what's not. There's always going to be lights. There's always going to be sound. There's always going to be people. But what's really serving me and what's not? What really upsets me? Is it friendships that I don't feel valued in? Is it neediness? Is it wanting to be emotionally validated because I haven't ever received that? I've always been denied. So I look for it elsewhere, but then that pushes people away. This is where you start to think about all that stuff. But, you know, you can unpack as much as you like, but what's important is thinking about your new concept and your desired reality. You're not denying how hard it is for you and, you know, I don't doubt it. That life has been hard for you. That people have shunned you and bullied you. Or you're traumatized, right? You've put in harm's way because of your trusting, your inner altruism, whatever it is, and your sense of justice. Your desired reality, what does that actually look like? What does that actually look like? Knowing your sensitivities and knowing yourself. What's your dream life look like? Is it being around people who are good for you? Is it being your true self and trusting your gut? Is it starting that animation company? You know Danny in Love on the Spectrum? Maybe that's it. Clean up your life. Right? Be strong. Be strong to speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself in a world that doesn't really do it for you. Right? Start to be courageous and live for yourself. Have these boundaries and cut the people who are bad out for you. Okay. The mood, the state, the feeling, mood or feeling? Feeling of autism. Feeling state of autism. Confusion. It's going to be here in your stomach, nervous all the time, heart, sensory everywhere, But you're just a hypersensitive person, and that's okay. But your greatest defense is bringing that back down, keeping the flow of energy. As soon as you're anxious, as soon as you're upset about something, regulate, feel it, let it dissipate. Then you can act on your logic, and you can act based on your therapy. Okay. Next condition. Penis. Okay, in my future videos, I'm going to say things in a more succinct way, but it's my first video, so be gentle. Or not, because I validate myself. Check this out. Anyways. Dysphoria. I'm just going to put this as a bracket because this can apply to your... This can apply to your gender. This can apply to... I'm just going to say dysmorphia too. Self. It's to do with self and identity. Self and identity. About image and perception. Can you see? Okay. The external circumstance of dysmorphia. External circumstance. Suppression. Self-suppression. External not treating you with acceptance and respect. Emotional response. Shame, disgust, grief. But remember, what's an emotional response? A feeling. Where's shame and disgust and grief? Shame in the depths of your bowel. That's kind of where it's all coming from, really. Heart. They're kind of just all coming from the same place, isn't it? Grief, disgust, dysmorphia it's more inward. It's more like an aching feeling, stabbing feeling. Cha 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 cha. We're gonna get rid of the pee-pee this time. Let's leave it gender neutral. Okay, stabbing. And you kind of feel like defenseless against the world. You feel like there's too many eyes on you. You feel like ashamed of your appearance and you want to hide away. You want to hide behind this. This is energy. Okay? Don't confuse it with identity. Energy or feeling is not identity. Do nothing. Remove your interpretation. No interpretation. Okay? So if someone, the feeling and energy of shame, disgust, and grief mixed with the internalization of I am ugly or I am not myself, I am not deserving to be myself, I'm in the wrong body, I can't self-express. Right? If you're triggered by something, say someone misgenders you, or someone You know, you run into some ED content on Twitter, get the fuck off there. You don't need that. Or, you know, someone, you know, EDs are very competitive. So someone is more, you know, a toddler comes, a 5-year-old comes and is 20 kilos and you're like, I want that. I'm sorry, I've been there before. I'd say this with compassion and I'm just tickling your pickle. You know it. How do you not get triggered? You have to dissipate this energy. Shame, disgust, sadness. It's just energy. And this is going to be hard because, you know, you've probably done some maladaptive things to keep, because you think you deserve it. You know, these people have extremely high rates of self-harm and very high suicidality risk. Why? Because their internalization is very, very sad. Okay? You have to look at people with this condition as very hurt souls. Okay? But you sit and feel, dissipate the energy, right? Then, after you get rid of this mood state, it's so much easier to do all this stuff. Rebuild the body. If you try to fix externally, right, this is eating disorders. I don't know what it's like to want to present differently to the world or transition and not be okay with my gender identity, but I know what it's like to be have crippling self-image issues and want to harm yourself because of the amount of shame and self-image issues that you have, to want to harm yourself and not eat and be so ashamed of who you are. EDs are focusing the outside, the external world, to match what they feel inside. Restricting food. Restricting. Or binging. Competing. To validate or carry out their mood state. Therapy and stuff is not going to work on a person who perpetually feels shame and self-abandonment. If you get rid of that, it's much easier to insert everything else. Okay? Because once you get rid of a shame, you do nothing. No thinking about what others are thinking of you. No, why can't I eat? No, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Just fucking do nothing. Chill out. That's how you get to self-acceptance. Why can't I accept myself? Well, you can't do it because you're thinking way too much. Okay? And this is your greatest defense. If someone walked up to you and called you fat or something, you wouldn't give a fuck because you've done this. Rebuild yourself, and then once that feeling of inner shame comes again, you have a defense. You do nothing. You let it dissipate because it's just energy. It's just a sensation. And you're not going to feed into these thoughts and associate these thoughts again because you're detaching from your thoughts. And you're just letting it go away. Without the feeling, you think you're gonna come up with these thoughts? Of course fucking not. The key is no interpretation. And you can't transition or have your dream body or whatever it is and come into happiness and self-acceptance. You know, it's not gonna bring you joy if that shame is still there. If your self-concept is someone who deserves self-suppression, deserves to harm themselves, okay? You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? The fruits of like working hard for self-acceptance, you know, finally getting into a good place with your body. Brain rot. Brain rot. What is, okay, sorry. External circumstance. This. Emotional response. Needing consuming to elicit feeling. So what you're feeling, your emotional response is not having. So you think that this fulfills you in some way. If it's lack of pleasure, lack of wholeness in your pelvis region. And that's kind of where it comes from, right? Compulsion, it's all from here. When I brain rot, hi, my name's Melissa Lim, I'm 22 and I have severe, well, I used to. I was an iPad kid, so, you know, I know what it's like to feel stuck in your body and really want desperately to stop doing something, but you can't. And that's the brain rot. And what does that feel like? Your stuckness. Absolutely, you feel like a brick in here. It feels like heavy bricks. I'm gonna draw bricks. Bricks. Stuckness in your body. And you want to relieve that in some way. With drugs is more of a social thing. You think drugs grant you serenity? Lack of serenity, authenticity, confidence. Enlightenment, happiness, this is a big reason for addictions in autism as well, right? Where you can feel your utmost in your truest self. Uncaring about other people, right? Or confidence, essentially. And what does that look like? Lack of pleasure, lack of. So that's going to look like maybe heartache. So imagine that's a hole in your chest. How do I draw holes? Pause. Like this. Hello, shading. Hello, shading has entered the chat. No, it's too cringy even for me. W's in the chat. What the hell are you even talking about? A lot of people take drugs because they think that there's no hope for them. So hopelessness, even, yeah, hopelessness, despair. If you have a community, sense of community. Traumatized people take drugs. You know, but that's I'm saying this because I'm trying to explain what the energy looks like. So when you feel all these things, you're not going to put the label and you're not going to interpret But I'm telling you what the feeling looks like and feels like, because you might not even have a clue. Relationship addiction. A hole in your chest from not being whole. Whole. I'm nothing but a hole, sir. Whoa, where'd that come from? Right, you think that something external is going to fulfill something internally or get you out of a state. So what do? Do nothing. Why are you gay? Why are you addicted? Under or overstimulation. When you are understimulated, you are going to look for drugs. When you are overstimulated, you're going to try mute yourself with the brain rot. Yeah. Apple iPhone. It's still self-suppression in a way. For brain rot, you're kind of stuck here. Stuckness. For consuming, you think that it's going to fulfill you in some way. Or it's an output. Depends what it is, right? Input or output, you have to decide what that feels like for you, because depending on your addiction. Addiction to drugs is a tough one because, you know, a lot of it is despair and grief and a feeling of, you know, that's the only time you'll feel loved and yourself. But it's still energy. It's still a sensation. Do nothing, no interpretation. I'm just saying all these labels to give you a sense, right? To visualize, help you visualize. Sit and feel. So, what does that look like? If you feel a hole in your chest, feel it until the hole gets smaller, smaller, smaller. Breathe into it and you'll start to feel like stuff bubbling to the surface. Bubble, it's buried deep. And then you just keep feeling until it's cleared. This might hurt, especially if you're very... Why does he have boobs? When did I do that? Now no one can have fun. With brain rot, you feel compulsion, right? Because it's your comfort. Oh, yes! Not having comfort. Dependability. Where is lack of comfort? What does lack of comfort look like? Like this. You're in yourself. You're like this. You're like this. A squirrel of a man. Ooh, I feel so sad. Let it dissipate. 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 Woohoo! We are erasing brain rot and stuckness just from doing nothing. No therapy, no nada, no. But, you know, you actually have to do nothing. So what does that mean, putting the phone down? I can't do it. Try again. Just boing. When you decide you want to get rid of your brain rot or addiction, you will do it. You will find a way. This is hard, right? Especially something like smoking. Why did I sound like that just then? Something like smoking lah. Smoking. What is that? What does smoking give you? A sense of calm. Right? Okay. What? It still feels like little I think this is what smoking addiction, vaping addiction feel like. It's like restlessness. and it's like it'll regulate, right? But if you throw everything away, sit and feel the discomforting, it's much easier. It's much easier then to deal with that emotion, because that's all it is. It's a feeling, right? It's a feeling. You've Pavloved yourself. And then if you can regulate that feeling of discomfort, of needing, of lack, of wholeness in your chest, you can start to put in good habits, right? You can start distraction. Physical stuff, exercise, movement, sorry. Ew, stop. Mental processing and identity. Look, addiction is mostly caused by intense trauma, right? You seldom find a very well-adjusted person who is very drug addicted, right? Well, who's to say that? Maybe they're extremely high functioning. Look, maybe you have repressed feelings, so going deep into our unconscious memories isn't the best, so much as feeling the feeling, right? Of hurt, of pain, of anger, sadness, you know, smoke, pain, writhing pain. You have to just let this dissipate, and it's easy to do because you don't think about all the wrong that's been done to you and this hopelessness. And you think about, once that's finished, right? It's done, it's over. Not over, but you start to think about what works for you, which is sobriety or harm reduction. Sobriety. A place of not needing. Because once you clean up your life, you cut away those habits, people, events, and your reaction to these events, you're much lower risk of relapsing. If you create an identity that's I'm whole, I have all these things within me, I have pleasure within me. You're whole. Look how whole you are. There's no feeling. I'm a serene person. I am an authentic person and I don't need substances. I'm a confident. I am enlightened as I walk because I'm a happy person. I don't care what anyone thinks of me. I live by my values. I've dealt with my hopelessness and despair. Because what? I have hope, I have courage, I have a sense of community. Or if I don't, I feel whole and I'm not going to beat myself up until I find, look at this, strong and bounding heart. JVD. Hello, I've learned something in my course. I can't hear. What is that? It's like rah, 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 rah in my ear. Anyways. Under overstimulation. Now, because you have the habits in, bong, 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 you're regulated. Under overstimulation. So what does that look like? You're falling somewhere. Woo, 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 woo. But if you do nothing, sit and feel, what happens? Oh, wait a minute. I don't give a damn. I'm right here. Oh, I see something. I feel it. Okay, well, that's boring as hell. I kind of wanted to act on that, but you owe it to yourself to do nothing. And I'm really like low and I want to do drugs, but if I feel the lowness, back to boring and stable you go. I shouldn't say that. And that is how you have self-control. That is how you have self-control. Internal motivation. This is what that is. Internal motivation, because it's all energy. Yeah, if you follow your intuition, you're at much lower risk of needing all these things externally to help you feel whole, because your environment has changed, because you change your outer world by changing your inner world, and you just have to maintain. Okay? Love you lots. Addiction hard, but yourself harder. You know what? If you are an addict, you're already determined. You're a determined person, you know? You will do anything to feel your addiction. That shows your will. You have a very strong will. Addiction is not stronger than your will. Okay? Next. Experienced. ADHD. Fuck. You bastard. What? What's so goddamn hot? Sorry. I'm gonna turn on the aircon. Whoopsies. That's not right. Inattention. Even oppositional defiance. You know. But what external circumstance, right? It could be childhood needs not met, school, responsibilities, emotional response. What's hyperactivity? Okay, orange. Orange is very hyperactive color to me. Whee! Impulsivity, also there. Maybe with a little fire in your heart. Inattention. ADHD isn't about inattention per se, but it's like misdirected attention. So it's still energy nevertheless. Because while you're inattentive, you're still zoning out and you're like, oh. So it might feel like dullness in the face of the body. Dullness. One eye open when I'm sleeping. Like this. Like a sleeping mask almost. Dullness. Brain fog. Right, it feels like foggy. And when you're triggered by a task you can't do, what do you get? Maybe you can't find something. When you lose your things. Lack of control over your day. What does that feel like? Frustration. I feel like purple's the color for this one. Warm purple. Eggplant. Frustration. Get so frustrated with myself when I can't do a task. Like this. Okay? Impulsivity. Okay, so what do you do? Whoop. Drug seeking. Okay, seeking stimulation. Sex, drugs, phone, brain rot. But what did I say about in the addiction section? You're looking for an emotional state which is calm, having, wholeness, right? Your emotional response is all these things, which is lack, restlessness, distress. Okay, so that all looks like this. Okay, a lot of ADHD kids feel that something is inherently wrong with them. So shame, what does that look like? Hole here. Again, so many holes everywhere. I'm sort of just a hole, sir. I'm just a hole. Okay, when you try to do a task, you feel all this. You'll feel, woo! Woo! And your assumptions and thoughts are just going to feed into this, right? I can't do. I'm worthless. I need to run away. I'm this. I have ADHD. I'm this. I can't even figure out. It's just too much overstimulated. Sure, you can feel some shit here too. So that's why it's so important to not interpret and do nothing. If you're trying to do a task, an assignment, and you can't do it until the last moment, you know the biology of that, dopamine, da-da-da-da-da. But your shame, your frustration is not going to help you. The more you do this, the more your brain will naturally regulate itself and find it much easier to do the things that you want. Okay, sit and feel. So, breathe in. Don't interpret. Don't be like, I'm calm, I'm lack, I'm restless, I'm inattentive, I'm impulsive. Don't shut the hell up. Sorry. Okay, because I say that because I do it all the time. But if you remove everything, don't think about what you have to do and why you haven't done it and how it's so hard, la 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 la. Or how even excitement, which is hyperactivity, which is up here. Don't think about how much you want to do something and how much you want to act and how impulsive you are. Just let it dissipate. Let it tire itself out. And boom! Boom! I can hear my breath, which I don't like. And then you're just a chill guy. Because once you regulate your emotions and you have good habits, right? Not seeking the things that spike or drop you. Get rid of this. Build a body, eat well, sleep well, exercise well, and it's much easier to maintain this rather than okay, and then now you do your therapy. Now you think about why you think you need all this and why you feel this and why this can come from within and why you don't believe you have all these things already. Because this comes from within. Love. Acceptance. Right? Because these things and these things all have something in common. Right? All of these things have something in common. And what is that? Sensation. It's just a feeling. It's not an identity. It's ATP. It is a bodily response. It is just energy. It's just energy. It's just energy. Break it down. What's a feeling? Okay? And now you can think about a new concept. You know, if I if I have ADHD, what does that mean for me? I'm creative, right? I look at the world with compassion and a new lens. I want to be a person who is self-actualized. I'm a person who maintains having wholeness, serenity. Clean up your life. Are you surrounded by people who enable you? Are you enabling yourself? Are you dishonest with yourself and what you truly like and who you are? Do you not give yourself enough credit and power? Right? Give people pleasing. You think to gain love, you need to people please. You need to please others. You need to suppress yourself. Right? This is why a lot of people with ADHD are in such shit relationships. Because they think they're so wrong. Their emotions are wrong. That they are impulsive. So they'll give them the ticket to be like, they're chasing that excitement. But what if you directed that excitement into a new concept? Your passions. Your passions. Hobbies, you have so many. I can't finish what my passions are. Well, you probably haven't found the one that's right for you. The one that your intuition says to follow. Okay, you have so many, you're a jack of all trades. Since when was that a bad thing? Reframe your concept. You're versatile. Okay? Once you are whole, you will immediately know what is and isn't good for you because that brain-gut connection is restored. Your vagal tone has improved. Right? And you'll just fall into everything will fall into place. Okay, instantly. When you change your perception of yourself and do the things you meant to do, synchronicities will follow. Right? And the more that you change, okay, you don't have to believe in the woo-woo stuff. If you are a person who believes that they are a new state, right? A person who is healthy, happy, following their dreams, or following what is right for them, you're more likely to have beliefs, actions, assumptions and thoughts and emotional responses, and then external circumstances of your concept. Okay? Ba 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 ba. I know it ain't the stallion. I know it ain't the stallion. Woo! It's a lot of yapping. Psychosis is one of the most, my experience with it is the most fear that someone can ever experience. Because why? The hallucinations and perceptual disturbances manifest your fears. And I don't know why that is. I'm not really looking for the cause. Mine was drug-induced. But guess what? The trauma and stress and fear and repressed emotions probably triggered it. I'd taken drugs many times before, but what triggered it, right? Environment and stress. We could talk about cortisol and glutamate and stuff like that. I couldn't because I'm not a fucking neuroscientist, but had I done this, my symptoms would have dissipated faster. I'm not saying purely rely on this. If you're in an acute setting, go seek safety and support. continue treatment. This is in addition to treatment. If you are unable to get to here, right, your daily life is severely impacted. You are unable to interact in a way that, you know, you want to be. You have to take your medication. But I'm not saying that your perceptual disturbances are going to be gone. I'm saying you will always have a defense against them because you are no longer fearful. You can detach from your perceptual differences because you are removing your emotional response to the external circumstances. Because you have that resilience within you to hear a voice that says your greatest fears and say, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Okay? A lot of people I've met that have schizophrenia, right? They talk about intrusive thoughts, right? I don't doubt that it greatly affects their self-esteem, right? But you can't be like, just fix your self-esteem, just fix your self-esteem. These people are going through something. If you do nothing, if you turn off the distractions, right? And stop interpreting and, you know, you're going to have a fear response. That's completely natural. Fear or paranoia, and what is that like? On edge. Fear and paranoia. This too. Up here. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I can't even form a fucking sentence right now. You want me to describe what I'm going through? I can't form a fucking sentence. I'm scared shitless. But if you close your eyes, and even if you're still hearing things, you're not trying to interpret them, right? You're not saying, is this real? Is this real? If you, whatever this may be, right? Because you're trying to discern between reality, but is it actually helping you? Is the paranoia helping you? Being able, you're still using your external circumstances to dictate your emotional response and how you feel. Even though your fears are extremely valid, I'm saying everything around you is scaring you right now. That is valid. But if you sit and feel and let this dissipate, right? If you're back in your body, if you're back in your body, if you're back in your freaking body, you're able to not react. And the reaction is the tough part. A lot of people have religious delusions or perceptual differences, right? Talking about angels, demons, always about like religion. Or it's based on how good or a bad of a person you are. or a battle between the two. If you just sit and feel, let this dissipate, A, you're more likely to seek treatment. B, you have a defense, right? You have detachment, so you could easily not react, rebuild the body, continue with your habits, continue treatment, and, a lot of patients with schizophrenia don't like their medication because they think it makes them sluggish and slow and unable to continue these things. But if you're able to continue your habits and treatment and live the desired life that you want to live, right? Have active social life. Have no shame about your condition. Have acceptance that comes from within. Then you're more likely to seek people that are right for you, a good support system, and not fall into self-destructive behaviors. And live a fulfilling life. Be your inner self. Be your inner child. Okay. Always have, you're not denying your condition. Knowing your sensitivities, you have good assumptions about yourself and thoughts and beliefs and concepts and actions based on your circumstances. A lot of traditional, it's interesting, in a lot of traditional societies, right, that are not Western, their perceptual disturbances are based on their self-esteem. They're benevolent. And why is that? Cultural values, expectations, community, a sense of belonging. If you had that, who knows if your perception, if your hallucinations would change. Or you come to a sense of peace with it. A sense of peace. Okay? And that is how you symptom manage and self-actualize. That is what you do in a crisis. So you don't follow through with the paranoia. You don't harm yourself and think that and self-loathe. You're more likely to seek treatment in a way that works for you, not in a way that is against your will. Right? Holistic care. Proper care. Trauma-informed care that works for you. A lot of, people, when I was doing my mental health placement in the psych ward, a lot of them complain, you're not listening to me. You're not listening. Frustration, hopelessness, anger, rightfully so. I'm taking all these medications that I still feel bad. Why aren't you listening to me? I'm depressed about my social situation and my condition. But what if you just let that dissipate and you could have the means, in addition to treatment, that you want, a life that you want, that works for you, because it doesn't come from anything external. It doesn't rely, the power doesn't rely in your psychiatrist. You are self-motivated. The power doesn't rely on everyone around you, right? Who you might feel alienation. You are self-motivated. You are whole. You don't feel shame about your condition. If something comes across, you're like, okay, yes, I'm going through this, but I'm going to regulate and seek treatment. And I'm going to continue with my life in the way that I wish. Maintain. Okay? You deserve a fulfilling life. You deserve a fulfilling life. You're more likely to ask for help if you regulate. To seek friendships that are meant for you. To go into your hobbies. And look, the greatest reform, mental health reform you could ever do is self-actualizing and teaching other people to do it. Being an example. Sorry, I got so passionate there for a second. Bipolar. Sweet Asian bitch, she go low man. Sweet Asian bitch, she got rickets. What are rickets? Bipolar. The same thing. Hey, PMDD is in here. That's interesting. Also, have you heard? What is it? Pepsid or something? Pepsid is really helpful against PMDD. I heard that. It's like a histamine thing. Wow. That's awesome. Pop a Pepsid. I don't even know what that is. Mania. What is mania? Whoa! So you just got done being depressed. And what is that? A shell of yourself. Sunken feeling here. Dragging down. Despair, grief. Trauma. Repression. Grief. Sadness. Stuckness. Don't confuse your ideation with identity, remember? You're reacting to your external circumstances or your condition. So you have assuming thoughts. But remember, it's just energy. Do nothing, no interpretation, no I'm so depressed, I'm so unlovable, I'm so this, I'm so this, I'm so this. Sit and feel, let it dissipate. Mania is the same thing. Mania happens after this. You have a surge of something in you is screaming for a new concept, new beliefs. Something is not working for you. And is it you're reacting to your external circumstances? Is it your emotions? But something is screaming for self-acceptance. Something is screaming for, it's lacking something, right? Or something in you, depression. Something needs to change, in my opinion. Isn't working. Reaction to circumstance. To your environment. If you don't have the means to change your environment, you do this. Mania. Surge of energy. Surge, oops. Mixing colors. Surge of energy. Desire for new concept. New identity. Confidence. Right? You are responsible for your own life. Right? You have a surge of energy coupled with these thoughts of I am. What usually follows? Manic. Religious delusions. I'm God. I can do anything. I'm gonna start businesses. I got businesses, baby. Business mogul. What is happening is you're receiving all this energy, right? Would you rather follow through with your dreams at a regulated place? Because it's just gonna come crashing down if you're up here. How are you gonna follow through with your business mogul and your sense of spirituality if it's conditional? If you don't have the traits yet, habits, if you don't have the traits yet, to follow through. Okay? If you remove the reaction to this new state, right? Even when you're manic, you get the crispy vision. You get the woo, 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 woo. If you let it calm down, and you come from groundedness. When you come from groundedness and calm, you can act on these. I felt it this week. I just came from a depressive episode, right? Ideation. But I knew, okay, previously I would just wallow and seek an escape in a person, or, you know, eventually hit the, like, you know, be at risk, essentially. But I didn't react this time. I just let myself feel what I had to feel. Depression also looks like this. It's just so, pain, it's hurt. Feels like you want to throw up. Once I let that dissipate, I actually started crying. Release, emotional release. I didn't care about my past mistakes. I did nothing, because you can't feel these things if you're constantly thinking about all your mistakes and all your wrongdoings and all your traumas and stuff. Then, right? Because if, you know, the whole hit the gym, journal, read, if you tell that to someone who's manic, right? That whole like, what is it? The whole hustle shit. I don't doubt that that's helpful for somebody. If you tell that to someone who's manic, they're not fucking sleeping, they're not eating. They're just go, 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 go. Right? Because that's what they deem as productive. Society tells them is productive. But what you're doing if you're maintaining mania is damaging your brain. After I went through my manic episode, my reward system was so bad. I felt boredom for everything, apathy for everything. It took me, you know, it would take me a huge emotional response, even danger, to feel excitement about something. Just so flat, bored, seeking high risk, high reward. Or high risk and no reward, really. Right? You can't tell a manic person, yeah, just fucking hit the gym, because they're going to be in the gym all day. They're going to start 3 businesses and post on all the social media, right? And do all these things and act on their impulses. If you calm the impulse down, you can be like, oh, okay, I have new confidence now. And this is where you look at your identity. It's not ignoring your problems, it's just saying, what's actually working for me? What actually triggers the fuck out of me? What triggers everything? Why is my life so up and down and not what I want? If you dissipate the feeling, you change your assumptions and thoughts based on it. If you think to yourself, I'm a calm person, I'm a serene person, I have the confidence to follow through with what I truly want and what is true to me, right? Big imagination. You could do that. I'm a successful author, but you're not going to do it during here. You're going to do it while you feel centered and your moods look like this. So you don't rely on the mania to fuel your life, to feel fulfilled. Okay? Regulate. I'm not saying bipolar, you need to ignore your treatment as well. You will always have the biggest defense once you put this in practice. Clean up your life. Okay? Build a life that caters to your strengths and your sensitivities. Okay? Cool. Love you lots. Dissipate, don't interpret. Rebuild the body. The reason you can't sleep and eat, right? You physically can't do it while you're manic. But what is manic? Sensation in the body caused by external circumstances, right? Emotional response, so a sensation plus your internalization. Okay? Remove your internalization. It's just energy. Let it calm down. Let it fizzle down. Right? When I was manic, it tried. Yes, I noticed it. Right? Once you do all this stuff, you're going to have a lot of awareness into where you are. You're going to be honest with yourself into where you are and what your emotional state is. You're going to have awareness and be able to put these things in practice. Right? It's just practice. I felt after the depressive episode like a heightened intuition, hypersensitive, whatever. There was no going to sleep. If I forced myself to go to sleep, it wouldn't happen, right? I calmed myself. I felt that feeling of excitement, grandiosity, and I felt it immediately. I felt the kind of fear heightened state of, oh my God, I'm manic again. Shit, fuck. No, calm down. Calm down. Ew. Then you can put all these in place. If I did this video stuff, while not doing this, I would have been like, and had it crashing and then not have the means to actually tell you guys how this stuff works. And as soon as the external circumstance changed, I'll be back to square one, depression. Right? I want to live a fulfilling life in the way that I want. In a way that I want, with the habits that I want. And to me, that is the ability to maintain a mood state and be non-reactive no matter what comes my way, so that I'm able to live the life of my dreams. You know? Feeling is the secret, yeah. But you can't change your external circumstance until you do this. Ba 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 ba. Also, if you have SAD, seasonal affective, you're always going to have something to rely on. You can't change the country that you're in. A lot of Australians have seasonal affective. A lot. What is it? Hey Siri. How many Australians have seasonal? How many Australians have seasonal affective disorder? 10%. The heck? That makes sense though. Depression is a good thing. What the heck? How could you say that? Because it means that something in yourself wants to change, wants to be rebirthed. It's not, ideation is metaphorical. It wants a metaphorical death. If you're unsafe, follow your safety plan. Seek emergency services. I'm speaking in this in a matter-of-fact way. If you tell someone you're depressed, you know logically that you are loved. You know logically you have all these things, but you're unable to give a shit. Right? You have family and friends that you love, but you can't connect with. That you're ashamed to be around. That you want to leave behind. And I'm very sorry. I'm not going to tell you some shit like, just love yourself. You are incredibly loved. But you know that. You still feel like this. And it's a feedback loop of guilt and shame. So what do? Guilt, shame, stuckness, sadness, lack of love, hopelessness, you know what it feels like? Hopelessness, stuck, grief, like this, stuckness in your body, lack of control. A lot of people, the world is in a tough place right now. Messy politically. The reaction to social change is resistance to that social change. And that leads to hopelessness. But what does that do for you? How do you put the power in the systems? Do you put the power, on a personal level, right? If something's making you depressed, your home life, your relationship, is that power in the situation or yourself? In your oppressor or yourself? Into what you can't control, yourself? Politics or yourself? The state of the world or you? You can't change billionaires from doing what they do. They're just following their inner self and their intuition. Unfortunately. Okay? You can't change the external circumstance. You can change yourself, and everything else will follow. Okay? Do nothing. Drop what you're thinking about society. We live in a society. About yourself, expectation, your failures, how you feel like you can't cope. Just drop it. You don't deserve that right now. This is your life. This is your life that we're talking about. You have so much, you are so valuable. You are so valuable. You're an inspiration. Okay? You're an incredible person because you're a person. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to be your true self. And give yourself a chance that you feel like the world has never given you. This is not a permanent condition. This is not a deficiency in the brain. It could be, but your body can change for the better. You will always have defense. You deserve to not be depressed for once. To have the means to get out of bed and do what you want to do. If depression is something that it's a state that is so persistent and you think, how can I can't get over this. I can't get over this. You deserve to. Remember, it's not identity. It's an emotional response and your internalization. Remove your internalization of what you're going through and get rid of the sensation. Okay? And that means feeling your feelings. Unfortunate and annoying, yes, I know. Do nothing. Drop this. You can't think about your kids. You can't think about your job. You can't think about all the people that you've done wrong. Fucking drop it right now. Because you can't feel this if you're always thinking and ruminating. Sit and feel. ouchie, 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 ouchie. You might start seizing. You might start having a somatic response. Oh yeah, and for mania, my hand was like uncontrollably shaking once I did this. But then I got the energy out, so yeah. Jump scare. Now you can feel your chest again. Maybe your hands and feet feel numb, or a lack of sensation in your hands and feet. Breathe into it. Let it dissipate. It's just energy. You don't have to visualize roots. You don't have to visualize chords. You don't have to fucking do anything, but just yourself. Nothing external. Then, because your emotional response is gone, therefore your interpretation is gone, therefore you can go in any which direction that you wish. You can start to get out of bed. You can start to brush your teeth. You can start to shower. Hell, you don't feel guilt anymore because you know how to manage that. Now you can go to the gym. Now you can go outside. Now you can start to see your friends. Actually, leave it. You're trying to build yourself here, okay? Friends can wait. They'll be there. And if they weren't, fuck them. They were never meant to be there in the first place. Now, once you can start to eat. Yes. Sorry, I should write this. Eating, sleeping. All I want to do is sleep. Why? Because you're so, it's sad. Lack of energy. Hey, but it's still energy nevertheless. Feel, dissipate. Remove the internalization. Now you can start eating, making your body strong. Strong again. Right? And then start doing your therapy. Start unpacking. Start thinking about what really works for you and what doesn't. And what you would truly like in your life. If you focus on productive habits, and not productive in the sense that I'm doing a lot, but habits that are good for you, follow your true self, and follow your desired reality, you're sweet. You're right as rain. Okay? Yeah, look, he's got sparkles in his eyes. Remember, and this is for any triggering event. Just gotta, what's something that's common? Shame. Shame is a huge one. Shame. It's kind of sitting here. And like nausea as well. Do nothing. Don't interpret. You can't fix your wrongs if you're riddled with shame. It's always going to come from insecurity. If you fix your wrongs or do what is right in your eyes and what's true to you, when you feel whole, regulated, you can easily set boundaries, have good interpersonal relationships, because you're acting in a way that honors you. Anxiety. You're kind of getting my drift now. Anxiety, stop! Anxiety! That freaky bitch. Sorry. See? They got it right in a kid's movie. Anxiety, stop! This freaky bitch, I know she puts it down. Vibrating. What the fuck is wrong with me? Anxiety, stop! Anxiety! My achy breaky heart. I can't feel my hands. Can't feel my legs. I'm gonna lose my job. Ooh. Like this. Alrighty. Anxiety about what? External circumstances. It could be anything. Anxiety. Doom. I said fear. These nuts. Worry about what people think. About external circumstances that you can't control. And your internalization, which is whatever it is, whatever the hell you're thinking about. That it reflects on you. That you are this. I am thoughts. I can or I thoughts, you know? Replaying events, ruminating. But for anxious people, doing nothing will be the hardest. This means dropping everything. I'm not gonna tell you to journal, right? Because it's never fucking ending. You could journal, it does help for some people. For anxiety, for compulsive, intrusive thoughts about a situation, it's far easier to dissipate all this. Then you have the groundwork of now you can journal. Actually, I would leave the journaling for after this. Because if you eat well, sleep well, exercise, right? Your thoughts are going to be from a more grounded place. Or whatever comes up in your therapy, you'll be able to cope with. Because you'll be less anxious, less worried, because you'll have all these brain systems, you'll have a healthier body, right? You'll have that sense of calm, serene, right? You can breath work your way out of anxiety, but it's probably just going to come back whenever you're faced with an external circumstance. You could eventually meditate and calm it down. But if you have a wild imagination, you're, so many kids having thoughts about death. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. That's so sweet. Oh, kiddos. What do you think about that for? Be a kid, it's okay. Existential crises. Can't think about that. You can't stop it either, right? So you gotta do nothing. Stop. Anxiety, stop! Sit and feel. Feel that fear. Step into it. Stop thinking. Stop internalizing. Stop labeling. This is fear, this is worry, this is worry. I'm just saying this because I'm trying to, visualize what it may look like this, right? Feel it all building up in your chest. Feel it, let it dissipate. Maybe you will have a panic attack. I think panic attacks, they're not good per se, but if your body refuses to feel things, it's gonna come out eventually. Okay? Your body might shake, tremble. Okay? Once you feel it, right? This is why sometimes progressive muscle relaxation doesn't fucking work. It's because you've been anxious your whole life, right? Your body can't regulate itself. Feel the feeling, let it dissipate, then do the rest. Then think about how you can come into acceptance with your impending doom. About what? About what you can't control. Then you can do your acceptance therapy. Then you will always have a defense against things that you fear, because you can regulate that fear, and you can live a life, a concept where you use your fears for good. Fear, what is fear? Strong belief or attention or energy. Guess what? It's still energy. You can use that energy to have courage. Courage to be yourself. Courage to be grounded. Courage to act in a way that aligns with your values. Okay? And if you're worried about the state of the world, as I said, the greatest activism and reform is when you change yourself. Then you change your outer world, because seeing is believing. Your beliefs change what you see, therefore it is real. If you believe in change, it will exist. If you act on your beliefs, you will show the world that it's possible despite your circumstances. Then you can do your activism, right? Fear doesn't help your activism. Fear doesn't help action. Leaves you stuck. Anxiety, stop. I need to let you go. I'm hard to get a hold of. I say one thing. My Requiem of the Dream sucked. The movie. The movie sucked. Why are we acting like it's a good movie? It's like a year 10 drama play. Like, I don't like soundscape movies. That's a lie. I do. What is it? Synecdoche, New York, and is his name Kaufman? Hashtag cinephile. I've got a file for you. I'll file you. I'm your file. I'm a file of you. Anyways, it's giving barbiturates. I hit a bitch in a bar 'cause I feel fat. Addiction bad. No, addiction sad. Soundscape. But I understand why people like it. Jared Leto. I put a rat in your mail, Joker moment. Because we live in a society that abandons this mentally ill owners and treats them like trash. I think you get the point now. These people have one thing in common. Childhood trauma. Intensive. And CPTSD. They believe, in my opinion, that they are unlovable. Deeply ashamed. I've seen this in multiple people. They try ECT. They try every single medication there is. Every treatment. But they believe so fundamentally in their condition and that something is wrong with them. So they'll act out and think of themselves in a way that matches that. They think, I'm stuck. I'm mostly talking about BPD, by the way. BPD, PTSD. They do the DBT, but are still stuck with the shame, with this trauma, hurt, lack, ache. Okay, I'm gonna say it's about here. They are at risk for so many things. High risk of impulsivity, abusive relationship, or unbalanced. High risk of finding a narcissistic relationships, or people that or model after their parents. After parents. That match the belief that there's something wrong with them. Wrong. Bad. I have no means of continuing. Disgust. Poor self-esteem. High risk of ED. Dysphoria. Identity issues. Poor sense of self. Okay? Don't know who you are. Split black and white thinking. Kid grows up thinking that they are unlovable, that they are to be deeply ashamed of themselves, that no one will ever love them in the way that they want, that of self-hatred, self-suppression, lack of boundaries. I'm going to keep finding myself in these friendships and relationships that are shitty for me, and hop from person to person based on how exciting they are to me. Throw myself onto the one person, thinking that, bringing that sense of wholeness within me. But as soon as they do something, I'm going to react. As soon as they show any signs of abandonment, it means I am this person again. Helpless, just always reacting. You don't have any power left because you keep giving it to your external circumstance. You have no autonomy over your own life because you keep awarding it to other people. Chronic people pleasing. People pleasing. Or self-suppression, which is in a way, people pleasing. Saying yes to everything. Yes to people that excite that within you and fire up your reward system. Or you see someone who's very like you, right? Relatability, looking for relatability and community and family. Acceptance. If you're unwhole, you're going to follow through with the actions of that state, finding other people who are even more hurt than you. You're going to feel responsible because that's how you feel that you can gain love. But if you do nothing, drop everything, dissipate this pain, this trauma, childhood trauma. It's going to hurt like shit. You don't have to do it in one day. It might take a couple months. It might take a week. It might take 3 days. However much you can handle. Don't label. I was at the talk, right? And he goes, what do you feel? She goes, I feel like I will never be loved. No, what do you feel? I feel shame. And no, what do you feel? She doesn't know. She's been up here in the mental and external world for so long that she has no clue what she needs and wants. She doesn't know what she feels, so she's always reacting because she's not even in her body. She's in all these different places and things and situations. Sit and feel, regain Be back in your body. Then you can start to do the habits. If I regulate, you don't react. Okay, it's much easier to do your DBT if you are honest with how you feel about yourself. You have no idea who you are? Yeah, it's a sign that you need to be back in your body, because once you feel that, you will know. That connection, brain-gut barrier connection is reconnected again. It's not disturbed. You follow through with your gut and your heart and your mind, and you actually can decide what you want. You make good decisions for yourself because you're in your body. You don't make decisions out of impulsivity. You follow through with your therapies, and you start to think about your new concept. When you are in this state, traumatized, insecure, you're going to start to mirror your surroundings. And you don't develop a good sense of self by your hobbies, right? And what you do and your job and what you can do for others. It's internal. If you are whole, you are internally motivated. If you are whole, you will always have a defense against whatever comes your way. Then you can be outspoken. Then you can have courage to cut these kinds of things out. You have strength to say, no, and that isn't me. You have the strength to turn away any impulsive thoughts, impulsive action, bad people that elicit. You have awareness in your body. So as soon as a person is bad for you, you have a bad gut feeling, you're going to turn them away. And you're going to start knowing what is good for you. And then you can act upon your desired reality. Because if you go straight into your desired reality, your feeling state is always going to catch up, and this is why you self-sabotage. Okay? Then you have the strength. If you start cutting people out and having no social support, right, or start changing, you're going to freak out and start your loneliness trigger is going to come back. Your sense of control is going to go away. But if you are in your body, grounded, centered, doing things that are right for you, you can easily do these things. You have the strength to leave your narcissistic partner because you're stuck from this excitement, this loop. You've extended your power outside to your external environment. You're reacting. You're depending on your partner to dictate how you feel about yourself. You're stuck. You feel obligated because, you're not making the right decisions for yourself because you're so out of body. Because you think that, want the emotion that person gives you. Is it safety? Is it loving? Is it familiarity? Once you think about what you really want, that is in a way that serves you, honors you, you will have the biggest defense. What do narcissists feel? A lack of control. Shame. Very image-based. I'm going to use and control my external circumstance so they don't get to know me. So I can always feel good about myself. So I can always feel good. Using other external circumstances to feel control, regulation, I'm just assuming. Wholeness. Status. Deeply affected by image. Okay, they don't feel whole, so they're a shell. This is why they use other people to get energy, to feel whole. But you can be internally motivated. You can be internally motivated because you're a human being that deserves wholeness, same as everybody else. And the people around you are deeply affected by you. Whether you like it or not, you're pretty aware. That's why they choose one person. They know what they're doing. They choose one person to have a hold over, to have that sense of control, because they lack that control in themselves. I say this with compassion, because why? These are all emotional states. Okay? Because you're a human being, but so are other people. Okay? If you're a traumatized child, and this is why you're narcissistic, people don't deserve to feel that too. Okay? You deserve to feel completeness. So you're not relying on other people to dictate how you feel about yourself. The same thing. Okay? Isn't it tiring to rely on your external to dictate how you feel about yourself? Isn't it tiring to not be yourself and what you really want? But yeah, does everyone deserve empathy? Of course. And, you know, if you are able to regulate your emotions of discomfort, annoyance, and not like frustration with what your partner is saying, you can be present and be able to listen to them rather than try to control the situation. Okay? Everyone deserves to be whole and feel whole. So you can start to make decisions out of insecurity and for the betterment of yourself and others. Then you can have fulfilling relationships, balanced relationships. You wouldn't feel the need to control others because you have that within yourself. Fulfillment. Okay? Fulfillment. Honesty. Fulfillment. Okay? I'm not going to talk about ASPD because I don't know anyone with ASPD and I don't know anything about that. But the same thing, you know, regulation is key. If you're affected by something, if you regulate, you're able to have fulfilling relationships. You're not chasing circumstances to bring you excitement, fulfillment, right? In a way that is accordant with yourself and the people around you. What your body is saying, it's good, you know, following your intuition. Then you can make rational decisions based on your desired reality. And, you know, I should hope it's fulfillment. It's comfort, peace, security. And then you can be a pioneer for your community. I'm a person with a personality disorder that, you know, I feel fulfillment. I'm in remission, or I have coping mechanisms, and I know what you feel like. Lived experience is much more valuable than clinical practice. in my opinion. Okay? You're able to inform others from a personal viewpoint. OCD. OCD is still compulsion. Fear. Very intrusive thoughts based on thoughts based on morality, impacted by self-concept, he's creeping me out now. Let's get rid of this. Aww. Things that are out of your control, anxiety, fear, repetitive ruminating thoughts, rumination, intrusive, no control of your thoughts, intrusive, taboo, yeah, taboo thoughts. But if you remove the fear, remove internalization, a thought pops up, you are your worst fear. You are this. It's confusing, right? If you have intrusive thoughts, sexual thoughts, it's probably going to be coupled with a bodily sensation. That is why remove the internalization, let energy dissipate. You're not thinking about anyone else or anything or what you're seeing. Let the fear, anxiety, cloudiness, stuckness, let it dissipate. Even if it's okay, even if it's sexual and inappropriate, it's still energy. Remove the label. Remove the label. Remove your internalization. What you resist persists. So the more that you ignore it, it's probably going to come back stronger. So just, it's there. You can't help that, but you can help this. You can help the feeling. Remove the label of sexual, moral, taboo, uncontrollable, and you're left with energy. Feel, let it dissipate. Remove your fear. Fear is not going to help your intrusive thoughts. Just add to them. Just feed them. They just want to exist. The state just wants to exist. Then you can do your habits. Then you can run. Running, eating well, stuff with less cortisol maybe, your omegas, sleeping. Then you can start to do the therapy. Why do I fear these things? Is there a way I can accept myself for who I am and come from an inner knowing and always regulate if I have these intrusive thoughts? Is there a way I can accept myself because I have these intrusive thoughts? Maybe they can go away then. If you confront your fear, right? The fear of being immoral, because morality is subjective, the fact that you fear these things shows that you're a moral person. It's subjective. So, it's okay. It's okay to fear these things. Challenge the fear. Feel the fear, let it go away. It doesn't exist in your body anymore. Okay? Delve deep into it because it's just an emotion, it's just a sensation. And not you. Sensation, not identity. Then you can act in a way where you're proud of yourself. If you act on your compulsions, they're always going to control you. If you control the anxiety, if you feel, not control, if you feel your anxiety and let it go away, you probably don't need to do the compulsive the compulsive actions. I need to wash my hands 6 times, or else my family will suffer consequence. You know it's illogical, but you can't help it. Regulate the fear, let it dissipate, and you won't need to do the compulsion. Okay? Then you'll always have a defense if something pops up. I'm not reacting to this because I know who I am. I know I'm a whole moral person. I know who I am. I'm grounded. I don't care what you have to tell me. And I'm not going to feed into it. Okay? And if the intrusive thoughts are bad, all you have to do is feel. Do nothing. Stop internalizing. Feel the feeling. And then carry on with your habits. Not compulsive habits, but habits that are going to help you distract. Habits that are going to make you feel happy and calm. Clean up your life. Remove the compulsions. Remove the shame. Love you guys lots. Thank you for listening. Okay, bye. You deserve to live a fulfilling life. Don't abandon yourself. Follow what is right for your intuition, and you will only know that once you rebuild the body and get back into your body. You can only balance emotion and ration if you're back in your body. You can only be faithful and courageous if you're back in your body. You can only choose to act as how you choose once you're back in your body. Once you validate yourself, once you know how to regain your power, once you know how to regain your emotion control. Peace, love, ganja. I don't know how lecturers do this.